Welcome to Hospitality Insider with Koni TV. Today we have a wonderful guest who has devoted his life to the hospitality industry and made a lot of differences. His name is Joe McInerney. And hi, Joe.
Hi.
Welcome. Thank you so much joining our program and tell us wonderful things about all the great things you have done in the hospitality industry.
Connie, thank you very much for having me on your program. I've been very fortunate in my life. I've spent the last 52 years in the hospitality industry in many different phases of it. I started in 1961 at the old Sheraton Chicago Hotel by chance, not by design. My mother had always said, you know, you ought to go look for jobs at the hotels because there could be some great futures there. But I, thinking you know everything when you're 21 years old, just didn't think that that was the right thing for me. And I was applying for a job at the Chicago Tribune to sell advertising.
Oh, yes.
And I went next door to have lunch at the Sheraton Chicago, and I said, boy, this looks like a nice place to work. And I went up to personnel, and they had an opening for a staff planner in personnel. And I was able to get an interview that following Monday, and I spent the next 25 years at Sheraton. I spent,
Oh, my Lord.
Working for a lot of very, very interesting people that taught me everything that I know about the hotel industry. I spent 5 years at the Sheraton Chicago working in all different phases of personnel and food and beverage and front office. And then I was fortunate to get transferred to the franchise division that was just starting in Boston when we had 28 properties in January 1966. And then I spent time as the first regional director of operations. I got to go very interesting places such as Winnipeg in February when it was 32 below zero.
Wow.
But they said it was okay because it's a dry cold.
Yes.
In Phoenix in the summer when it's 117 because it was dry heat.
Right.
But it was a great experience. I learned, and this was a time when the industry was really starting to grow. The interstate highway system in the United States, it really changed the dynamics of the hotel industry. It went from being urban properties and then tourist courts and motels on the secondary roads. Now we're starting to see the interstate highway system becoming a dynamic force in the United States. In every quadrant and periphery of major cities, we started to see hotels being developed. Did that for a few years, and then in 1969 rather, I was getting married, and I was traveling all but 4 days of the month, and I figured I better get a real job. And I went back to be general manager of a hotel in North Carolina, the Sheraton in Winston-Salem. Got married, and a year later I got asked to come back to Boston as assistant to the president of the franchise division.
Oh, great.
And then over a period of time, we became president of that division for the last 8 years I was with Sheraton. And in 1986, I joined a company that was just starting, Hawthorne Suites. It was a joint venture between the Pritzker family of Pritzker Family Trust and Carrie Neiman and Phil Wilhelm, two developers in Chicago that had a company called Hawthorne Realty. And we started to grow that program. Unfortunately, we had the savings and loan debacle.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
1986,
yes.
Right after we started this company. So even with the Pritzker balance sheet and everything else, we had trouble finding financing for projects. So we started a management company, and within 2 months we had 18 hotels and 3 freestanding restaurants.
Wow.
And it was very interesting. One of the restaurants that we had, we were running for a bank in Worcester, Massachusetts, and second week we were there, they called up, the president of the bank called our executive vice president and said, "What did you do last week? We've had the biggest money revenue month or
Wow.
week that we ever had, and we owned this for 6 months before you took it over. So it was very simple. We put in 2 cash registers.
Oh, wow.
So it was, sometimes it's management 101 when you do
That's
these
right.
things. I stayed with Hawthorne Suites until 1991, and I was fortunate to join the English company, Forte Hotels PLC, which had been formerly Trust House Forte in the UK, and became president of Travelodge, and then a year later became president of North and South America for Forte. And it took a company that had some serious problems, had old properties, had morale problems within the ranks. We were having diminishing properties were deteriorating because they were all built in the 50s and some, in fact, in the 40s. So we revitalized the company and were able to sell it in January of 1996 at a premium price based on the things that we did to change the whole structure of the organization. And then it's the same day we had a hostile takeover of our parent company in the UK. And I decided, I was living in San Diego, I really didn't want to work for Granada that did the hostile takeover, didn't want to work for anybody at the time that we sold any of the parts of Travelodge to. So I thought I would play golf, wear white shoes, and clip coupons.
And I have that thought a minute, that there's so many changes that from where you started and now. Where we have to do is, I want you to hold that thought, and when we come back, we will talk about his passion and all the way how the changes made from the day he started until now, and it'll be very interesting. Don't go away.
This is Ken Salyer with Tricus, and I want to thank you for watching.
You're watching.
Thanks for watching Koni TV.
Koni TV. Koni TV.
Watch it every day for the latest hospitality news, hospitality trends, or whatever you desire to find out in the hospitality industry.
Come join us now at konitv.tv.
Welcome back with Joe with his great stories, and we can't wait to hear more about the stories, all the changes that he made in the hospitality industry. Joe, that's so interesting story. So from that on, what happened?
Well, first of all, I flunked retirement in 3 months.
Oh.
First of all, I forgot that everybody I knew was working, so I had nobody to play golf with. My golf game got worse, and my wife really would have liked to see me out doing something else than being home. I wasn't home for lunch. So,
Right.
But an opportunity came from some friends to go work in Moscow on a project. They were partners in a bank with Mayor Luskov, and the city of Moscow owned about 40 hotels. And so I went in and I did an evaluation of all of the hotels there, figured 6 for that we could turn around and either tear down, build something, or have them just because of the location and where they were at. It really didn't work out that way. We saw that there were too many other obstacles in there, and I stayed on as a consultant for them. And then an opportunity came to run the Pacific Asia Travel Association.
Oh, wow.
And it was based in San Francisco and moved the headquarters to Asia. In the 12 of the 25 years I was with Sheraton, I was in and out of Asia 3 to 4 times a year.
Oh, my.
So I had a great understanding of the culture and the diversity of the different countries there and the people, and I loved it. In fact, back in 1977, the first time my wife was over, we were going to an opening of a hotel, and we were in the taxi cab coming back from a cocktail party, and she said, why don't you quit your job and we'll find something over here to do. And it was an exciting time, and everybody's like, and the next morning we said, that'd be a great idea. We had little children. In those days, the schools weren't that good for expats, and all our friends were sending their kids to boarding school.
Oh.
And we didn't want to do that. So in later life, this opportunity did come. We moved the headquarters to Bangkok, lived there for 3 years. I spent 4 years with the association. It took us about 10 months to move it. But it was a time when the financial crisis was going on in Asia. And this was a message to our members. They've been talking about moving this headquarters since 1963.
Oh, really?
Yes. You know, we are now at 1998. But with the financial crisis, and we needed to be on real time with our members. The majority of our members were in Asia, and we're in San Francisco, so we couldn't talk to them. I spent the first 3 months interviewing our members out there, talking with our staff, and by September we were able to move. It took a while to get it, not long for the board to approve it. We had sent out an RFP to 6 different countries. They sent it back, and we moved the headquarters, and it changed the dynamics of the association. We're now on real time with our members, talking to them about real issues, and if they needed us there, we could be there in a couple hours, not a couple days. So it was a great change, and in 2001, I was approached by the American Hotel and Lodging Association to come be the president and CEO. And I had spent about 25 to 30 years as a volunteer in the association. I hadn't been involved in the last 5 years, so I didn't have any, any of the new baggage, some old baggage, but not the new stuff. And the good news is all the presidents of the hotel companies at that time were people that I grew up with in the industry. So I had a little better insight. And then 9/11 came.
Oh, yes.
And we were, I took the job in July, but I had to give 6 months notice. So we worked out a plan. The first 3 months I'd spent 3 weeks in Asia, 1 week in Washington. Second 3 months we did the reverse, and my replacement came, thank God, in November. And we were able to move on with the association. And the association was having some problems. We had an economic downturn that started in 2001, in March or April, but nobody realized it. Then 9/11 came and just dropped everything out of the sky and really created some problems for the whole industry. We went into a major economic downturn. Development was stopped. Didn't get back into development until 2005, and then 2007 we had the second economic downturn. Then we had the Lehman Brothers problem, and now we're coming out of it. One of the things that had to do is when I took over the association was assess what was needed to be changed. And there were a lot of people. There were 76 people there at that time. We were losing money. They had lost some money in 2000, and we're going to lose it in 2001, even though they had a lot more income. We had a lot of silos of people in groups that just did their own thing, didn't relate to anybody else. We had things that should be together that were separate, had separate financial resources, and doing their own thing, such as regulatory affairs did their own thing, and governmental affairs did their own thing. So we merged them, and because they're both, they really, regulatory affairs were part of governmental affairs. So we merged that, and what we wound up doing is merging a lot of different departments. We took our information center that we had in Washington, had 6 people. Everything was in paper. We contracted that to the University of Houston.
Okay, hold that thought, Joe. When we come back, that Joe has spent last 12 years in AHLA, that we will learn about all his accomplishment and his passion and something he gave back.
Hi, I'm Didi Kim with Darf Design, and you're watching.
And you're watching.
And you're watching.
And you are watching.
And you're watching Koni TV.
Koni TV.
Koni TV.
Koni TV.
Koni TV.
The first internet channel for the hospitality industry.
Watch and follow who she brings and what she brings to show you, to inspire.
KoniTV.tv. I love it.
Welcome back to Hospitality Insider with Joe McInerney, who has spent the last 12 years at AHLA. Hi, Joe.
Hi, Connie.
Thank you. Please explain to the audiences about AHLA.
Well, Connie, one of the things that we did at AHLA is we really needed to change the structure, both the physical structure of staff and resources, but really the governance structure. And in 2005, we changed from a federation of 50 states and to city associations to a dual membership where the hotels were members of the state association and members of the AHLA. In 2012, we changed the governance again, and now the brands and the ownership groups are really the central focus of the association. And the properties will pay their brand, their brand will pay the AHLA. And what it does is it takes, we had about 40% of the properties were paying members, so we were still doing things for the whole industry. Now we're gonna have about 85% of the properties in the United States as members of the association.
Wow.
My contract was to be up in 2010, and the board had asked me to stay through 2013 so that we could make the change in the structure, and so that the new CEO wouldn't have to go through a tremendous learning curve. And in April of this year, my replacement came, Catherine Luger, who is a experienced lobbyist in Washington, and it will be changing the dynamics of the whole association. We got the change of the model done at the last board meeting I was at. She got the change of the bylaws done in June. It's moving forward, and there'll be a new association next January 2014. And my contract was up the end of September, and now I am starting to look at other opportunities. I formed a company to do different things, coaching of people in the industry, representing some companies that really need to be in the industry, because this is a great industry. I spent a lot of time on education with students. I'm involved in a lot of different advisory boards, again, to mentor students and really to mentor people. My job as CEO of the AHLA was to mentor our staff, to make them better managers and better human beings as we move forward. And so now I'm spending a lot more time on the education side of it. In this new company, we're looking at doing things with World Bank and other international organizations of helping to train people in other countries.
So what's the name of your new company?
It's called McInerney Hospitality International.
Okay, that's easy.
And if you go to the website, is www.mcinerneyhi.com.
Okay,
and,
good.
It's been interesting. The last, just started this in October 1st.
Okay.
And, but there's opportunities out there to do the things that I want to do.
Right.
Though I think I have one big challenge left. I think I'm not going to find that big challenge. I'm going to have a lot of little challenges that make it an enjoyable time. And it's working with people. You have to really give back to this industry. As I tell students out there, today it is a better opportunity for people entering the workforce than it was when I started. The consolidation of hotel companies, you can work for a hotel company for 40 years, not work in the same hotel, the same city, the same segment of that brand, and have a great career.
Right.
So it's an opportunity, or you can be an entrepreneur.
That's right.
And and so there's just so many different things. There's about 200 different classifications, because it isn't just all hotels.
Right.
It's convention centers, it's restaurants,
Right.
it's suppliers selling to the industry.
Right, absolutely.
Things that you never think of. It's meeting planners. Everybody's got them. Companies have them, governments have them, hotels have them. They just call them the catering department.
Yeah, hospitality industry is very versatile, and nobody can survive without the other. So that is a wonderful thing. So your passion is education.
Education and training.
That's fantastic.
And it's, but it's an industry that really, you make friendships that will stand the test of time. People that were your competitors and now become your friends too.
Of course. You know, we are people before we are any professions, so it is fantastic what you're doing, and then good luck with all the things you're doing. And tell us, what is your personal plan?
Well, my personal plan is really to live in, Washington, D.C., where I live right now, and, work on some of these projects and really train, help people. I'm on an advisory board at DePaul University, at Boston University, on a advisory board at Hong Kong Polytechnical.
Okay.
And so it's really to keep involved with these organizations, not to ride off into the sunset, because, as much as I, realize that this industry has been great to me, I need to give some of it back to the young people that are coming up and help them along, because the important thing is young people need to have a mentor in this industry, because if we can keep them for 2 years or 3 years, we're going to keep them for a long time career. Because when they just start out, they're working the 3 to 11 shift on Friday night, their friends are out partying, and they're saying, what am I doing here?
Well, like you started at the beginning of it, so you know how they feel, so that's great.
And I had mentors, and I had people
of course,
that helped me along the way, and that's what I want to do for other people.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you, Joe, and thank you so much for his wonderful stories you have shared. And I wish we had more time, so please come back for share more of your great stories.
I look forward to coming back and talking with you.
Thank you for watching Hospitality Insider with Joe McInerney, who has been a legend in the industry. If you would like to have more information about KoniTV.tv, please go to KoniTV.tv. Thank you for watching.
Congratulations, Koni TV.
Congratulations, Koni TV.
Congratulations, Koni TV.
The first online
internet
TV station
for the hospitality industry.
Congratulations, Koni TV. If you have not started watching it, you definitely should. Join us now.